Hi guys, hope you all are doing well. This week we finished up by doing a little bit of parts of speech review, modal review, and looked at some reading, and particularly some pre-reading so that we know what to expect as we're reading longer readings. This one is 3 paragraphs, so we did some pre-reading to make sure we understood the structure and what was coming. So today we're just going to review what we did in the last half of this week. So let me share my screen with you. All right, so the first thing we did was review some parts of speech. We started this earlier this week, so hopefully you remember this. Our nouns are things like people, places, and things. Verbs are action words, and adjectives are our descriptive words. So today we took some time and looked through some of our vocabulary words to see where they fit. We have a lot of nouns in this set of vocabulary. So here you see health, diagnosis, lifestyle, prescription, stress, treatment, exercise, and referral are all nouns. Our verbs were exercise, diagnose, prescribe, refer, and then the verb form of treatment we found was treat. And then for adjectives, healthy, stressed, and prescription. Something to pay attention to as you are looking at the noun, verb, adjectives in our vocabulary is looking at related words. So for nouns, we have health, and the adjective form is healthy. So pay attention, make sure you're using the correct form of the word. The noun is diagnosis, the verb is diagnose. The noun prescription, the verb prescribe, and the adjective prescription. The noun is stress, the adjective is stressed with the ed. The noun is referral, the verb is refer. The noun is treatment, and the verb is treat. So by knowing the difference in the form of the word, knowing what the noun form is, knowing what the verb form is, knowing what the adjective form is, gives you more options and allows you to be more creative with the vocabulary that we have. So take a few minutes for a little bit extra practice, pause the video, and do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pause the video. When you are ready, hit play again. So if we look at 1, 2, 3, and 4, number 1, it took the doctor a few weeks to diagnose the problem. It took the doctor a few weeks to diagnose the problem. We see this 2, so we know it's going to be a verb. So we look at our verbs. Diagnose is the one that fits. Number 2, you need a blank to make an appointment. We see a, so we know it's going to be a noun. Looking at our nouns, what would you need to make an appointment? A referral. You need a referral to make an appointment. Number 3, the only thing that will help is blank painkillers. Painkillers is a noun, and we know that adjectives describe nouns and come before the noun. So we look at our adjectives. The only thing that will help is prescription painkillers. Prescription painkillers. Number 4, it worries me that you are so blank. When we are describing someone, we're using adjectives. Worry is negative, so we look for a negative adjective, stressed. It worries me that you are so stressed. As we're looking at parts of speech, don't feel like you need to memorize everything, or if this is confusing to you, that's okay. This is just another tool as you are learning vocabulary and as you are being more creative with that vocabulary. We will continue to work on this. We'll continue to look at it. So just pay attention as we go. How do you use nouns? How do you use verbs? How do we use adjectives? We will continue to look at this next week as well. The next thing I want us to look at are our modals. Earlier in the week, we looked at this picture, and part of what we did was give advice to this person. Some of the things that we talked about were with our modals was that they were used to give advice and give directions. So if we look at this woman, she has been in a car accident. And so we gave some advice. We looked at our modals from low strength, medium strength, and high strength. Some of the advice that everyone came up with: you should go to the physician. She must call the police, or she must call 911. She has to call a tow truck. She shouldn't be stressed out. She should be standing up. So using our modals from low strength to high strength to give advice about what she should, what she could, what she must do. We did a little bit of extra practice with this. We also looked at this new picture. The problem in this picture, this man was very stressed. He had a lot of anxiety. So we also gave some advice for him. He should have a study plan. He must talk to his teacher about that subject. He has to study regularly. He must cope with his stress. He can have a chamomile tea. He should study enough to improve his knowledge. He has to calm down. So we can use modals to give advice about a number of situations. If you feel like you need some more practice, you can always add to either of these pictures. Try to think, what is some other advice that you would give to this man when he's stressed out? What is some other advice you could give to this woman who's had a car accident? Practice using your modals from low strength, medium strength, and high strength. There's different situations where you might not need really high strength advice. Sometimes you just need to give options, and that would be using our low strength modals. So practice using them at each level for different situations. We will be using these again in class the coming week. So make sure you look over them, make sure you understand how to use them and when to use them. And if you have any questions, you can let me know. The last thing we did this week was some reading. Let me go ahead and show you our reading. This was our reading for the week. I have sent you this over Remind, so hopefully you have seen it. This is not new to you. But in our reading, we did some analysis of it and some pre-reading strategies. This reading is 3 paragraphs long. So when you have longer readings, particularly in English, that just makes it harder to remember what you've read at the beginning and harder to follow what is happening. The longer it is, the more difficult it is. So we took a look at a few reading strategies to help you know what the reading is about before you start reading. The first thing we looked at was the title. The title here says, Staying Healthy During COVID. That title tells us what this reading is about, and you can start thinking, what do I already know about this? What do I already know about staying healthy during COVID? You might think of things like wearing a mask, social distancing, not getting in big groups of people. You also know things about staying healthy in general, things like exercise, diet, making sure you are doing the correct things to keep your body healthy. The second thing we looked at were these pictures. This first picture, we see a picture of a man wearing a mask. He is outside. Second picture, we see a picture of, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. See a picture of him inside. He's watching TV. He's sitting on his couch. He is not very happy in this picture. The third picture, we see a picture of people playing soccer outside. There's a lot of people in this picture. The next picture, we see him cooking. He's cooking eggs, it looks like. He's in his house. He's in his kitchen. The fifth picture, he is outside. He is running outside, running or jogging in the park, maybe. And the last picture, talking on the phone. He looks happy in this picture. So when we look at all these pictures together, all 6 pictures together, you can start to think, what do I expect this reading to be about based on these pictures? So what do you think this reading would be about based on these pictures? Could be things like following safety guidelines, spending time at home, spending time with people, exercising, talking to people on the phone. So you already are getting ideas about what to expect in this reading. What are things that you think it will be about? The next step in our pre-reading, or what you do before you read, is looking at the topic sentence. The topic sentence of a paragraph is the first sentence of the paragraph, and it should tell you what that paragraph is going to be about. So if we look at the first paragraph, the topic sentence says, James has not had coronavirus, but the pandemic has affected his physical and mental health in other ways. So we know that this first paragraph is going to talk about how the pandemic affected James's health. So both his physical health and his mental health. This paragraph will tell us how his health has changed during the pandemic. The second paragraph, the topic sentence says, now James is finding healthy and safe ways to improve his physical health. So we know that the second paragraph is going to be talking about his physical health. It's going to be talking about what James is doing to improve or make his physical health better. And then the last paragraph, the topic sentence says, he has also made changes for his mental health. So we know that this last paragraph is going to be talking about his mental health and what he is doing to improve his mental health. So now, based on the title, based on the pictures, we have an idea of what this is about. And now, based on these topic sentences, we know that the first paragraph is about how his health changed during the pandemic. The second paragraph is about his physical health. And the third paragraph is about his mental health. Now, I have sent you this so that you can read it. And as we go over it, I want you to be thinking about these things, looking at what information is in the reading. The first part talks about what were his health problems. So looking at that first paragraph, how has his health changed? What is he doing for his physical health? So the second paragraph, what is he doing for his mental health? The third paragraph. And then how has his health changed? So what were his problems? How have they changed? Have they gotten better? Have they gotten worse? So as you read, think about these questions and follow the structure of the reading and the different paragraphs to answer those questions. Then the last piece is looking at some comprehension questions, making sure you understood what the reading was about. So number 1, why did James change his lifestyle? Number 2, what is one way that James has changed his habits to be safe in the pandemic? And 3, how has James connected with his friends and family? So after you have read, you can come back here, answer these questions to see how much you understood from the reading. All right, guys, I will send you that reading again on Remind so that you have it and you can be practicing it. Next week in class, we're going to be working on some speaking on Monday. So make sure you understand what we've done so far. Look at the vocabulary, look at your modals, and if you have any questions, just let me know. All right, guys, have a great day. I will see you next week.